Hey everyone, this is Jillian Graham, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take a scavenger hunt that you might use around the room in your classroom and change it into a digital format so that you can use it with online learning or even still use it in the classroom and just have a digital way for students to turn in their work. In this tutorial, I'm going to feature two of Mrs. E Teaches Math's scavenger hunts that I have purchased on TPT, and she has graciously allowed me to use them in this tutorial. I'll put a link to her TPT store in the description of this video in case you want to purchase these amazing activities. I have been using these activities for several semesters, probably years, and they are awesome. So here's an example of what it's going to end up being when you turn a scavenger hunt into a digital Google form version. So I already have this one done. This was multiplying and dividing rational expressions scavenger hunt from Mrs. E Teaches Math. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it with all the steps with the adding and subtracting one in a minute. So first I just wanted to show you what the end product is going to be. So on mine, for my settings, I automatically collect email addresses. That's just all my forms. I do that way because I'm always using it in my domain. I want them to be um, logged in on their school domain, so I just always have that there. So it automatically collects them. And then I input a question for last name and first name, just so if I want to sort them, the Excel results. It just makes it easier to already have those in there. So then after that, you're going to create a bunch of different sections because you only want one question to show up at a time. So I've just sectioned it out into the different stations. So this one has lots of different stations, A through J except I. There is no station I. So I have one for each of those. And at the very bottom is once they reach the end of the loop, then I have it set to where it will bring them to this section, and it just says, congratulations, you made it back to where you started, and then good job, little Bitmoji sticker, of course. And then they have to type in the order. So normally when I do this with students, they have in class, they have a sheet where they do all their work on, and this Mrs. E provides this in the file. I'll just show you what it looks like. So normally in class, I would show them this, or I would print this for them, and they would do their work in each box as they're at each station. And then right here is where they would put the order of how they completed the stations. So in class, I want them spread out. So I tell them to start at any station. But on the Google form, that's not really necessary because they could just start at station A. All of them can start at station A because they're not moving around the classroom. So I just put, they put an A here, and then if A leads them to J, then they put the J here, and they continue around until they get back to A. So I want the Google form to do the same thing. So to set that up, let me go back up to the top. So here is the first question. This is station A. I have some instructions here for them. It's kind of important that you tell them to do the bottom problem because they'll look at this and be like, what do I do? Clearly, that's the answer to the previous problem. So you have to do the problem on the bottom. So I just say start or solve the problem that is on the bottom half of the station card below. Show your work on notebook paper to upload at the end of the scavenger hunt. Choose the station card with the correct answer. Keep track of the order in which you complete the stations. You will enter the order when you reach the end. And then I just put a note that there is no station I in case they forget or they think that I forgot to add station I to the Google form or whatever, but there's no station I. So the first one, so they'll start on this, they'll do this problem, and they will find their answer in the answer choices at the top of one of these cards. So let's say the answer was D. So they would select station D. Oh, let me go to the preview and show you this. So they put their name in. So let's say this answer was D. So they would select station D, and then I have that station linked to station D. So then it takes them to station D, and then they solve this one. And then if that answer is station F, then they would go to F. Okay. Now, I already know that F is the last station, so I'm just going to end the loop here to show you. But station F, the answer connects back to A, so they would select station A, and then that will take them to the end of the loop. So congratulations, you made it back to where you started. Good job. And then they have to enter their answer. Now, for this, they have to enter it exactly in the order that it needs to be in for the correct answer. So this is obviously not the correct answer. So if they typed that in, it tells them, oops, something's wrong with the order, try again. So then they would try the order again. And if they typed in the correct pattern, it will accept their answer. So let me grab the correct pattern. And I'm just hiding the correct answer because I don't want to show what the answer is. But if they type it incorrectly, then they don't get that error message, and then they can add a file of their work. They can just take a picture of it and upload it. I use this image upload during e-learning in the spring, and it worked great because they would just take their test or quiz or whatever it was and upload a picture of their work. And then I could go back in and give them partial credit just like I would in class because I can see their work and see where they made a mistake. Was it just a little tiny mistake, or was it a huge mistake they didn't, learn the concept at all? So I love using the image upload for that. So once they add their file, and I'm just going to add a random one. So they have the code in correctly, then they upload a file, and then they just hit submit. And then on my end, I can look at the responses. And so what I like about this is I can see that I just skipped through. So remember, I went from A to D, then to F. And notice how I didn't go to any of these other stations. So those stations weren't required, but I can tell that this person just, got the answer from a friend, went to the end, and didn't actually do the entire loop of the station. Okay. But I can go down here, pull up the image that they submitted, which is just random for me because I just grabbed one. But you can see their work and see how they did, make sure they did every problem and that they were doing the steps correctly. Okay, so now I'm going to go through how to set this up. So these questions here take them to specific sections. And then one other big thing is on the final question, which was F, when they select the correct answer, that one is what you want to change to go to the last section. But the rest of them just all go to the section for that station. Okay? So I'm going to start a new Google form and show you how to do this. So I'm going to call this add and subtract rational functions, or its expressions. And I am going to add a little header on this. I like to be extra, make it pretty. Okay, so actually I'm going to add Scavenger Hunt. that. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the same questions from how I set up this one. So I first set up last name and first name. So I would just have them add their last name. And so this automatically changed to short answer because it recognized what I was trying to do. Okay, so last name, first name. And this is already collecting email addresses, but again, if yours doesn't do that, you can go to settings and select this to collect email addresses. All right, so now I'm going to create a new section. To create a new section, you're going to use this down here. It looks like an equal sign, but it's really just a picture of the headers. Okay. So the first section is going to be Station A. And then I'm just going to grab my instructions from this one. I'm just going to copy and paste. Okay. So that's going to have the same instructions as my other stations that I set up. And then I'm just going to add more stations. So I'm going to have Station B. Station C. And then I'm just going to fast forward through this and I'm going to keep adding the rest of these. Okay, so I've added all of those sections. I did skip Station I because there is no Station I. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this first section. So now I'm going to add a question. I'm just going to push the plus sign here to add a question under Station A. I'm going to call it Station A. And then I want to add a picture of Station A. So what I need to do is I need to get the PDF file that I purchased from Mrs. E Teaches Math, her Teacher Pay Teachers store, and I'm going to put that into PDF Candy so that I can separate all of the slides. So this is the scavenger hunt that I'm going to be using to create this Google form. And each station is actually on a separate page. So in the previous version of this that she had that I own, that I've been using forever, it's actually two stations on one page. So what I had to do with that was I had to use my snipping tool, snip each station, because it was two on one page. So I had to snip Station A, then snip Station B, and then I would just save each one to my desktop, and I would upload them that way on Google Forms. And this is how I make, like, if I have multiple choice questions in whatever format, I will just use the snipping tool and add those to a Google form instead of typing it all in to the Google form. But she has this new version, so I'm not having to snip each picture and save each picture. I'm actually just going to separate each page of this PDF and convert them into PNGs. And then all of those pictures will be ready to go for me. So to do that, I am going to use pdfcandy.com. It's just a PDF converter. It actually converts a lot of different things, but I mostly use it for PDFs. All right, so I'm going to scroll down here to PDF to PNG because I want all these files to be PNGs. You could also do JPEGs, but PNGs seem to have better quality most of the time. So I'm just going to upload that into here. I'm just going to use medium quality. High quality is the size of your pictures and is going to be over double the size of medium, and there's no noticeable difference because it's just a black and white image. I mean, it's got color on there, but it's not like a photo. So like the photo of a landscape or something. So it's not really a big deal. So just medium quality, it's faster. the size of the pictures are smaller, so it works great. So I'm going to hit convert. Okay, so now I'm going to download that file. And what I'm going to do, because this is in a zip file, I'm just going to extract all of these to a folder on my desktop, and I'm just going to name it something that I can quickly get to. All right, so back to the form, I'm going to click on this photo icon right here, and I'm going to add the image of station A. Okay, so now what I want to do is create the multiple choice options. So I'm going to add all of the options. I'm going to add A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, skip I, J. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to add the photo for each one. And obviously the answer to station A is not going to be station A, but we're going to need this on other sections. So I'm just going to put all of them here, copy it for each question, and then I'll go back and I'll remove A after. And then B for station B, etc. So for each one, I'm clicking on add image, browse. I'm already in that folder, just double clicking to add the picture for each station. So I'm going to finish this up. Okay, so now I have all of those in there. And now I'm going to set up my links to where I want them to go. So down here, beside where it's a required question, I'm going to go here, go to section based on answer. Because if I click on station K as the answer, I want it to go to station K so then they can solve that problem. So for each one, I want it to go to a specific section. This is why we set up those sections to begin with. So if they click on station A, I want it to go to station A. If they click on station B, I want it to go to station B. And so each one of these is going to go to the station that is pictured. Okay, so now that I have all of the multiple choice options for every station, and they are going to link to the sections based on those stations, now I can create a copy of this question. So I'm going to hit this button right here that's going to duplicate the question. And then I'm just going to change this to station B. So I'm going to change the title, and then I'm going to change the picture. Replace that picture there. You can click these three dots too and then change the image, but this is right there and it's less clicks, so that's what I always do. So now station B, though, I want to drag that to be in section B, or the section for station B. So just drag it down a little bit until that section of the station B pops up, and then you stick that right under there. And so now I just keep going. So I'm going to go down the bottom of this one, duplicate, change this to C. Okay, and then drag that under, oh, didn't go far enough. Most of the time I go too far. There we go, station C. And then I'll show you one more, and then I'm going to fast forward through the rest. So station D, change the picture to station D, and then drag it down. And then let me just show you, if you drag it too far, so let's say you drag it down here, you just kind of have to scroll back up. Sometimes you have to go above D to come back down. And there we go. You want to make sure it's right under there. And then just verify that it's in the correct station. All right, so I'm going to fast forward through the rest of these. Okay, so now I have every question in each section, but I do need to add one last section for the end of the loop. So I'm going to add another section. And for this one, I think I just said congratulations. I like to keep them consistent, so I usually just copy and paste from the other one. So congratulations, you made it back to where you started. And then if you want to add a picture like this, you can add an image right here. And then you can do it by URL. I use my Bitmoji Chrome extension. And then maybe just congratulations. So I'm going to copy image address, paste that in here, and insert that image. And of course I'm wearing a crop top, so I'm probably going to change that. I'll have to change my clothes. Hang on, I'm going to change my clothes real quick. Okay, that's more appropriate. We'll leave it like that instead. All right, so then after that, I just added these questions here on how to complete the scavenger hunt. So I'm going to add a question, and this one is going to be short answer. And then for this one, in order for it to only accept the correct pattern, you need to click the three dots and add a response validation. And because this is text, we're going to select text, and we want it to contain, let's say the answer is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K. Okay. So we'll put that as the answer. So as long as they put in this, then it's not going to prompt them. And then here, the custom error text. If they put in the wrong thing, you can just tell them, you know, I think I just usually say, yeah, oops, something is wrong, or you can just put try again. And then that will let them know, hey, this is not exactly what the answer is supposed to be. You need to look at the order again. All right, so now the only thing that we need to do is I'm going to go back for each question. And I'm just going to remove the answer choices that aren't necessary. So on station A, we don't need to have station A. Station B, we don't need to have station B. So I'm just going to click and then click this X right here to not to remove, you don't want this one, that'll just remove the picture. But you actually want to remove the selection like that. So it just goes A, then C. So on station C, I'm going to click and then remove option C. And then I'm just going to keep going down the line. All right, so now I need to find the last question or the last station in the loop. So I want to link that question to this section down here. So the last one that they're going to get to is F right here. And the answer to F is going to be A. So on this one, I'm going to change it so when they get to station F and they answer the question and they put that their answer is A, I don't want it to go back to station A because they've already done that one. I want it to go to the very last section so it says, congratulations, you've completed it or whatever. Okay. So I think that's it. Let's take a look at it. I'll just put in, okay. So here, if they solve station A and let's say they got C, there you go, it takes them to C. Then let's say they got G, and it takes them to G. And let's just, to finish this, go to station F. Let's say the answer was F. And then the answer to station F, we know is A, and then this is going to take them to the very end. And then they can put in their answer, which this isn't the answer, this is just what I set it to for now. Oh, and I didn't add the upload question yet. I'll have to go back and do that. So you can see here, if I put that in, it's wrong. But if I put the correct answer in, it doesn't tell me it's wrong. So it must be correct. And then we'll add that upload question. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, so at the very end down here, I'm going to add another question. And we're just going to say upload an image of your work. And then we're going to change this to a file upload question. I'm going to hit continue. And then my students are going to have probably 2 or 3 pictures to upload. So I'm going to change this to 5 so they can add at least 5 files or up to 5 files. And then the file size, their images, depending on what phone, like if they're using an iPhone, sometimes those high def pictures that they take are a little bit bigger. So I usually, just to be safe, I just change this to 100 megabytes. This should be plenty. And then depending on what you're doing for this in particular, if accepting up to 1 gig of files is fine, but you can change it. If you're doing something else, using an image upload type of form for something else, and you have a lot more, if it's like a project, an image project type of thing, you may want to change that. But I mean, really, that's probably going to be fine. Okay, so now we have that there. So now when they get to the end, they'll be able to upload an image of their work, and then they'll submit it just like I showed you on this version when I was doing that. So I think that's it. This is a Google form. So when you send it out to your students, I use Google Classroom, so I would assign it to them in Google Classroom. And they would just submit their answer for the form. And then again, if you click on responses, that's where you'll see their responses for their form. You can export it to a Google Sheet so you can see those responses, and then you can alphabetize them by last name, since the first question is last name, and that makes it really easy to put it in the order of, you know, whatever your grade book is in, and then just type the grades in. Typically for this kind of activity, I do it based on completion, and so it's just a 100 classwork grade if they did it correctly and they showed all their work, and I can see that they are learning the concepts. So one last thing I'm going to do is just click here to add the title to my form. I'm terrible at that. I always end up doing that last, but all you have to do is click and it will add the title from, you know, whatever you have here. So, all right, I think that's it. If you have any questions, just let me know, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have other tutorials that you would like to see, especially for Google Forms. I think I'm going to do one on multiple choice forms as well, and even using Equatio because I use that a lot. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I can put one of those tutorials together for you as well. Thanks, y'all.